Depression, anxiety, not very nice things, but did you know nutrition can help? I'm going to teach you 3 biological rules that prove that nutrition can be one of your biggest tools in reducing symptoms of depression and anxiety. Hello, thank you so much for joining me. My name's Ben from 3 Step Lifestyle. Today I'm going to teach you why nutrition is an incredibly powerful part of your lifestyle that can relieve symptoms of both depression and anxiety when you get it right. Now, we all have what I call a food mood constant. I'm going to teach you exactly what this is as we go on. But basically it's a tool that you can use to help relieve your symptoms. Now, in previous videos I've spoken about something called a hormone harmony. This is the balance between stress hormones and feel-good neurotransmitters. A neurotransmitter is basically a chemical messenger in the brain responsible for mood and emotion, so very important to your success. When you're depressed and anxious, the symptoms you feel are caused by an increase in stress hormones and a decrease in the reception of those feel-good neurotransmitters. And simply put, that imbalance is what creates all those symptoms. Now, what the food mood constant can do is help to balance this out and help you relieve your symptoms. So I've got 3 rules that are going to explain exactly how nutrition does this. Okay, let's get straight into it. So rule number 1, we all have 3 systems in our body, which I call the power of 3. Now, these power 3 are your nervous system, your hormones and your neurotransmitters. Now, the reason I call them the power 3 is because they all have the power to relieve your depression and anxiety. They have the power to do this because they can help balance out your hormone harmony and stop those symptoms from happening. So that's rule number 1. The power of 3 can help balance out your hormone harmony. Rule number 2, the power of 3 are constantly being affected by the food you eat. So have a little think about that, let it sink in. That basically means every single bit of food you put in your body and the way that you do it has an effect, positive or negative, on the power of 3. Now, I call this effect the food mood constant because if you get it right, it can have a positive effect on the way those power 3 function, therefore relieving your symptoms. If you get it wrong, it has a negative effect on the power 3 and can make those symptoms worse. So that in a nutshell is what the food mood constant is. The fact that everything you eat is constantly having an effect on the power 3 and therefore having an effect on your depression, anxiety. Rule number 3, the shortest and simplest rule, but probably the most important, a positive food mood constant always results in symptom relief. Now, depending on how long you've done it for, how good you've got at your nutrition will depend on how low your symptoms can get. But that is rule number 3. A positive food mood constant always results in symptom relief. And that's incredibly empowering and exciting to anyone that's feeling low or depressed or anxious and stressed, because it means if you can get it right, and it's not as hard as you think to get it right, then you can get some symptom relief and start to feel a hell of a lot better. Now, to put these 3 rules to good use and actually use this food mood constant correctly and create a good food mood constant, I use something called nutritional balance, which I've spoken about in previous videos, but I'll just give you a quick overview of what it is and the 2 steps that I always give people that they can start using straight away. Step 1 is to start balancing all your meals. So a balanced meal is basically what I call a complete meal, and it's a meal that has all 3 macronutrients. Macronutrients are fats, carbohydrates and proteins. I'll go into more detail in videos to come on how you can balance these out and what foods these are, but try to start balancing each meal. It doesn't have to be perfect, just consistent. So for example, instead of just having, say, a bowl of cereal for breakfast, go for something a little bit more balanced. For example, you could have a bowl of oats with some natural Greek yogurt and a handful of like pumpkin seeds. This makes the meal more balanced because it's got fats, carbs and proteins in, which is essential for the running of the power 3, therefore improving your hormone harmony. Point number 2 is to avoid what I call negative trigger foods. These are foods that have a negative impact on the power 3 and slow down their function, and therefore have a negative impact on your food mood constant. Now, there's quite a lot of these foods. Unfortunately, they're hidden in lots of food products that we buy by clever marketing, and I'll go into more detail in a future video on where these foods are. But a simple way you can start fighting against this is to start cutting out processed foods. because processed foods tend to have a bad response or a bad effect on the para-3, therefore upsetting your hormone harmony. Okay, so I hope you found that useful and it's given you a bit of hope because you realise that you can actually take control here, control the foods that you eat, and start to relieve your symptoms. As always, remember, if you are suffering from symptoms of depression and anxiety, do speak to a medical professional or doctor. More importantly, remember, these things are nothing to be ashamed of. So if you do find this video useful, please like and share because you might help someone else going through exactly the same thing as you are right now. Remember, you're not alone and we can all fight these things together. Thanks a lot for listening. I hope you found it useful and I'll see you soon.